Welcome to the introduction of the Straight to the Point podcast, a vaccine discussion show that talks about common objections to vaccines and why they fail to make a compelling case to avoid vaccination. I'm your host, Isaac Lindenberger, and I have some personal history when it comes to vaccines. My mom is very against vaccines, and I, as her second child, was the last one in my family of 7 to get vaccinated. My younger brother ended up getting his vaccines when he turned 18, and it turned into an international story, ending with him going to the Senate and the United Nations to support vaccines. His name is Ethan Lindenberger. At the time, I was skeptical of vaccines, having been raised to believe that the science behind them was questionable. In the middle of everything going on with my brother and the news, which was suspicious in my eyes, I ended up appearing on the most popular anti-vax show, The High Wire, hosted by Del Bigtree, with my mom, to defend freedom of choice when it comes to vaccination. To be fair, I still hold that view. However, most of the people I've met who support vaccines do as well. Forced vaccination is not a very popular idea, thankfully. I continued on the medical freedom side of the vaccine debate for some time, and after a while ended up participating in a debate called The Needle of Controversy, which is the first episode of my other podcast, The Lucid Truth. I tried to defend anti-vax views, and ended up, after losing the debate, realizing there was much more for me to learn. After spending several months engaged in deep research, I decided I would vaccinate myself so I could attend college, instead of requesting an exemption. This caused quite a bit of controversy, since I had surmounted a large anti-vaccine following by this time, and it led to a great deal of personal attacks on the account of my previous fans. However, I don't take it personally. We're all people trying to do the right thing based on what we know, and respectful dialogue is key to getting people to listen to you, which I had hoped they would do. So I started a vaccine discussion show called Bridging the Gap, with the hopes that if I respected anti-vaxxers enough, they would talk to me, and we would find compromises and solutions to commonly perceived problems about vaccine safety and efficacy. Dr. Paul Offit appeared in the first episode with a vaccine risk awareness advocate who he was friends with, Lynette Marie Barron. The discussion was positive, and the second installment focused on vaccine ingredients and also went well. But I found few experts were willing to talk to anti-vaxxers for the fear of platforming their ideas. So I decided to make this podcast, Straight to the Point. This show invites experts from around the world to discuss problems surrounding vaccine hesitancy, along with parents and regular people who know a thing or two, who can share their experiences with vaccine advocacy and what works to help support the science behind immunizations. The first episode features Dr. Peter Sears, brother of Dr. Bob Sears, who is well known for making Dr. Bob's Alternative Schedule. Dr. Bob Sears is basically anti-vaccine light, warning of false dangers surrounding vaccines that do not exist to make parents feel better. His brother is pro-vaccine, and while he does not discuss his brother, we do discuss many of the common myths associated with vaccine hesitancy with a formerly anti-vaccine mother, Christina Denuit, who is now pro-vaccine after realizing she was only being told half-truths on the behalf of the anti-vaccine movement. The format will vary. We may have only one expert at a time, or several, or an expert with a parent, etc. Each episode will support vaccine advocacy, explain issues related to vaccine hesitancy, and debunk anti-vaccination ideas and attitudes. Immunologist, social psychologist, chemist, and more will appear to create a broad and encompassing perspective surrounding vaccines, and we hope to do so thoroughly and with a little bit of fun. You can find and support the podcast at our website, straighttothepointshow.com, and the podcast is also available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and other podcatchers. So, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you for the next episode of Straight to the Point.